All right, wings up, everyone. Wings up. Happy Friday, and welcome to our Friday night mindset development call. This is our reset call, our G2 Global reset call. So, for those of you all that this is your first time showing up on our Friday night call, we have this call every second and fourth Friday of every month. And this is where we come and we just kind of we relax our minds, we feed our minds, just really get into our creative juices, so to speak, and just really just take the time out to address some of the things that we deal with throughout the week. Okay, so throughout the week, guys, we're focused on our business, we're focused on our jobs, we're focused on our families, and just really the things that we have to endure in life, right? And endure in our workplace and endure in our place of business. And so on the second and fourth Fridays, this is where all of our G2 Global members, this is where we just gather. This is where we come together and to really, just to really let our hair down and to get our mind off of the stresses and the things that weighs, heavily on us as we go throughout this life. Okay. So today, guys, I've been excited to talk about uh, our topic today, which is tested but not taken out. We're going to deal with mastering the art of focus. Okay. We're going to deal with mastering the art of focus. Now, how to stand firm when life turns up the pressure. The greatest test of courage on earth is to bear defeat without losing a heart. Okay? Without losing heart. Okay? So tonight, um, I want to talk about what it really means to be tested. What it really means to be tested. So to be tested, it means to be tried. It means to be stretched and proven through adversities and challenges and pressure, which reveals the inner strength of one's character, faith, and focus. So tonight, I want to talk about what it really means to be tried, what it really means to be stretched, and what does it mean to be proven. Those three words sound pretty simple, right? But they define the purpose, or they define the process, I'm sorry, of every strong leader. These words sound simple, but they define the process of every strong leader, every strong believer, and every successful person must go through. So, to be tried, stretched, and proven is a process. It's a process that you and I must go through. To be tried means that you've been put to the test. You've been put to the test. And we know that life test comes in many forms. Comes in financial struggles. It comes in betrayals. It comes in health challenges. It comes in disappointments. It comes in delays. And these things are not meant to destroy us, but they're meant to develop us. So to be tried means that you've been put to the test. Your integrity, your patience, your purpose have all been questioned by life's circumstances. You've been put to the test. And to think about a test, why am I being tested? Why do we get tested? It's to show proficiency of the level of which you're currently on. It's to show that you're proficient in that level, on that level, in that area, in order for you to move to the next level. So if you're finding yourself being tried and finding yourself being tested, it's because you're being shown your proficiency on the current level that you're currently on, which is now pushing you to your next. You can't go to your next until you're tried on your now. You can't get to your next until you're tried on your right now. Your patience has to be tried. Your patience has to be tried. This week alone, last week alone, rather, since Friday, has been a very trying week for me. I don't know about you all, but it's been a trying week for me. I have personal trials. I have personal moments when I'm being stretched and I'm being proven. Whether it be in my business, whether it be in my finances, whether it be in my health. My purpose has to be tried. My patience has to be tried. My integrity has to be tried. I had a situation with a large sum of money this week, dealing with someone that decided he wanted to run off with a lot of money from us, and that was a very trying situation. A dear friend of mine went into the hospital to have his to go through an amputation and died on the hospital table for 10 minutes or 5 minutes. I'm sorry, for 5 minutes, and went into a coma after they was able to revive him. Trying moment. He's still not out of the woods even today. Trying moment last week. My stepmother was 71. She's 71 years old. Was going to the store to buy her some cigarettes and was shot 4 times just this week in Chicago. Trying times. My mother is dealing with personal health issues and things that's gotten her in a bad or a challenging physical and mental place. Those things are weighing on me. These are trying times, right? So my patience has to be tested. My integrity had to be tested. Right? What do you do when people try your kindness? What do you do when you're all out of patience? What do you do when the test becomes so hard and it becomes so intense that you forget about the purpose and you almost don't want to deal with the purpose? What do you do? Because you're being tried. You're being put to the test. You're being stretched. And to be stretched means that you're being pushed past your comfort zone. To be stretched means you're being pushed past what you're not used to and what's not comfortable for you. To be stretched means that you're being pushed past or pushed into places where you couldn't rely on your old strength and had to grow into new strength. You're being stretched and you're being proven. And to be proven, you all, means that you've come out on the other side of the very thing that was trying to distract you and stretch you, right? So tonight we're dealing with being tried, stretched, and proven. Focusing on mastering that art of focus. Because when you're proven, that means that you had to stay in a place for a particular amount of time and come out on the other side. To be proven means that you have to sit a while you're being tested. And to be proven means you come out on the other side, refined. You've come out on the other side solid and trustworthy because of what you've gone through. I always think about they talk about when they talking about in the scriptures, they talk about how Jesus Christ, for the sake of this story here, had to be proven and he had to be tried. He talked about how when he died, after all the trials that he went through and all the suffering that he had to endure, the proving part came by way of the resurrection part. Once he had died, from the very thing that was there to destroy him, right? And to distract him and to kill him, right? Once he overcame that, he did so by laying down his life and then getting back up, according to the story, right? But the good thing and the powerful part of that is that it said that he got up with all power in his hands. So using that same analogy, when you are being tried throughout your life, throughout your career, throughout your family, and you're being stretched, you're going to have to go through a crucifying moment in your life where you don't know whether or not this purpose thing is even worth it. This business thing is even worth it. This family thing or this relationship thing is even worth it. Right? Because of the stretching and the pulling and the pain and the suffering that you've got to endure. But then the proving part, because of your enduring and your staying in the process. The proving part is you coming out on the other side and getting up with all power back in your hands, all the strength back in your hands. And that's the part where we get messed up at. We get caught up in the trials, we get caught up in the distractions, we get caught up in the test, and we never get to the proven part. Because we lose ourselves in the testing part. We lose ourselves in the stretching part. And so to be proven means that you've come out on the other side, not only redefined, not only solid, but you've come out trustworthy now, right? You're trustworthy, not because life was easy, because it wasn't, but it was because you endured the test. And not only did you endure the test, you did not break. You didn't break. And so I want to encourage all of our G2 Global members today and those that's listening to this message, don't break. Don't break. The process of greatness is all a part of your stretching. Don't break. That's the process of greatness. You don't become who you are without a test. Okay? You don't become who you are without a test. So testing reveals what we truly believe, not what we merely say. My mother used to tell me when I was young that teeth and tongue could get together and say anything. Testing reveals what we truly believe, not what we simply say. You hear a lot of people say that they are, they try to motivate and they try to, teach people and try to say that they're this and that. But when the rubber hits the road, when the testing season hits, when the trying season hits, this test will reveal what you truly are made of. Or did your teeth and tongue get together and say anything? Every test is preparation for a greater assignment. You can't discover your strength without resistance. As gold is refined by fire, our purpose is refined through testing. It's three areas that conducts the testing in our life. The first area is the area of adversity. Adversity will conduct the testing in your life. The second area is challenge. Challenge will conduct the testing session for you in your life. And the last area is just pressure. Pressure will also conduct the testing session for you in your life. So adversity being a condition of difficulties, being a condition of hardship and misfortune, will expose what's truly inside of you. It's not meant to destroy you. It's not meant to take you out. It's meant to develop you. So you're being tested, not taken out. You're being tried, not taken out. You're being challenged, which is simply a call to step up to something greater. It's an obstacle in your life. It's an obstacle in your business. It's an obstacle in your relationship. It's an area in your life that demands growth, that demands courage and creativity. So a challenge is a call to set up something greater. So when you're being challenged, you're being set up for something greater. A challenge is just an obstacle. It's just an obstacle. Too often we look at challenges as our way of life. This is just what it is for me. I've started my business. I've started trying to grow financially, trying to grow in all of these different areas in my life. And, I feel like I'm being set up. I feel like there's a lot of obstacles in the way. And I'm not sure why all of these obstacles are in my way. This is the mindset and the thinking of people who don't understand the duties and the job of adversity. These are the thinking and the mindset of the people who's not really tapping into what it means to be challenged and what the real meaning means. It's an obstacle. And it's an obstacle, watch this, that's demanding you to grow, forcing you to. That Chinese proverb, the gem cannot be polished without friction, nor man perfected without trials. The gem cannot be polished without friction, nor can man be perfected without trials. So those three areas of adversity and challenge, and the last one is pressure. Pressure, the force or the weight that's applied to your life that reveals what you're made of, just like this gold here. The heat purifies the gold, right? Just like heat purifies gold, pressure purifies your purpose. So as we go through this life trying to understand and identify our purpose, it is essential. It is mandatory that you go through pressure, because it's going to force, it's going to force you, okay, to be purified. And it's going to force you to see what you're made of. So to be tested means to be tried, stressed, and proven through adversity, challenge, or pressure, which is revealing the strength of one's character, faith, and focus. So why we must master focus? Why must we master focus when we're going through adversity? Why must we master focus when we're being challenged? Why must we master focus when we're having pressures hitting us from every side of the wall? Focus is the discipline of attention. It's the ability to keep your energy, your emotions, and your efforts centered on your mission despite the distractions. Man, that's hard, right? It's hard to stay focused. And this is what we have to master, because this is where we all get bent out of shape at. When we're in the midst of our adversities, in the midst of our challenges, in the midst of our pressures, we lose focus. You have to have laser vision. You have to have blinders on, so you cannot see what's on either side of you when you're focused. This is why you guys see horses, they put those blinders on the side of his face, and you see it right on. I don't know the terminology for it, but they put the blinders right on the side of his eyes. This is so the horse cannot be distracted by other horses or animals running alongside of him. He can't see it. The only thing that horse can see is what's straight ahead of him, what's in front of him. And you have to be like that horse. You have to have the focus and the wherewithal to stay focused in the midst of the distractions, where you can't see anything on either side of you. The only thing that you can see is what's in front of you. So focus is the discipline that you need. Focus is the remedy to your testing being your distraction. Focus is the cure to that. So when you're going through your pressure season, and you're going through your adversity time, and you're going through a place where you're being challenged and stretched and pulled, focus. Focus. Don't get caught up in the emotions of the distractions. Think about it. Think about it. The very things that'll come your way to distract you, if you take the blinders off, If you take the blinders off, you will lose focus on your purpose. What was your purpose in the first place? What was your purpose coming through the door, right? What was your initial purpose? And that's what we have to be reminded of as we're growing and going. Because going through this life is going to hurt. Unexpected things are going to happen. Testing comes to divide your attention, where focus comes to pull it back in. Testing comes to divide your attention, where the job of focus is to reel it back in. When you start dividing your attention and looking every way, remember the word focus, 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 focus. The goal of every challenge is to make you forget about your purpose. The goal of every distraction is to make you forget about why you're here in the first place. The goal of every adversity and pressure is there to make you forget what your purpose really entails. So mastering focus means remaining steady, even when the outcome isn't clear. Man, mastering focus means remaining steady. Steady means to be unmovable. Steady means to be secure in your position. It means to be stable. When you're mastering focus, you have to remain unmovable. You have to remain focused even when the outcome isn't clear. When your mind starts to wander, your momentum starts to weaken. When your mind starts wandering, your momentum starts weakening because you're paying attention to the distractions. So here's a good word for you. Don't be distracted by the distractions. Don't be distracted by the distractions. Where focus goes, energy flows. Where focus goes, energy flows. So to be tested means to be tried, stretched, and proven through adversity, challenge, or pressure. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. So here's a couple of areas of focus. Number one, mental focus. You have to guard your mind when you're having to be focused. There's 5 areas that I want you to tap into. Number one, your mental focus. Your mental focus. Your thoughts shape your response to life's test. This is why we have the mindset calls. This is why we have mindset reshaping calls. Because the very first thing and the very first area of focus is your mental focus. Guarding your mind. Disciplining your thinking. Listen, don't let temporary pain that you're going through rewrite permanent purpose. Don't let your temporary pain rewrite your permanent purpose. Your purpose is permanent. Your purpose was destined for you before birth. Your purpose is assigned to you and only you. Each and every one of us have a purpose. Each and every one of us has a assignment. So discipline your thinking and don't allow your temporary pain, what you're going through temporarily, to rewrite your permanent purpose, to rewrite your plan. Don't let your trials and your challenges rewrite your plan and make you pivot away from your purpose. You have to replace fear-based thoughts with purpose-driven affirmation. You have to take these fear-based thinking and these thoughts that you've watered, and you have watered them over the years with your doubt. You've watered your fear-based thinking with your confusions and your skepticism. You've rewarded your fear-based thinking with you've caused your fear-based thinking with all of your doubting and all of your being skeptical and not and your unknowing, not being in the know, right? So you have to replace that fear-based thinking that you formulated through all of these life's trials with purpose and with purpose-driven affirmations. You have to use silence and journaling and meditation to reset your mind daily. You are today where your thoughts have brought you. Wherever you are today, it's because of your thinking. We said this on another one of our calls, right? You are here today because your thoughts have brought you here. So what a man thinketh, so is he, right? Okay? So what a man thinketh, whatever a man thinketh in his mind, it is that which he is. And so whatever that thing is, or whatever it is that you think in your mind, and what you've said you are in your mind, that very thing and that very purpose has to be tested. You cannot be proficient in your purpose without being tested on your level. You can't be proficient in your purpose without being tried and stretched on that current level. It doesn't work like that. So when someone says that they've been tested, it's not just about going through something hard. It's about what that hard thing revealed. Right? So when someone says, man, I'm just being tested, right? When we say someone is just going through a test, they just being tested. It's not just about them going through something hard. It's about what that hard thing is going to reveal. Every test comes to expose truth. Every test. When you were in school and each grade that you were in, you had to be tested on that grade to expose if you're truly proficient. Are you truly proficient on this level? Have you been listening to the teacher? Have you been studying what's been taught to you throughout the year? And so the test comes to expose the truth. The truth, whether or not you're proficient or not. That's all it is. The test is here to expose the truth of your level of proficiency. Who do you say you are? What do you say that you are? Whatever that is, it has to be tested to expose the truth. What truth? The truth about your character. The truth about your faith. The truth about your focus. Adversity will test you in so many ways. It will test what you believe. Adversity can come in such a harsh manner that it will test what you believe, even what you believe about yourself. And challenges will test what you can handle. I want you to put this in your mind, okay? That adversity will test what you believe. Challenges will test what you can handle. And pressure will test how deeply rooted you truly are. Adversity will test what you believe. Challenges will test what you can handle. And pressure will test how deeply rooted you are. And when you come out of these tests, don't come out bitter. When you come out of this test, don't come out broken. But when you come out of your test, you got to come out of this test and this trial. You have to come out better. You have to come out proven. And when he got up with all power in his hands. When you go through trials and you go through your testing in such harsh manners and so much pulling, and when you have to lay down your life, right? When you have to lay down your life, it's going to cause you sometimes to be bitter, sometimes to be broken. But when you are focused, It causes you to be proven. I don't want to be broken. I don't want to be bitter. I want to be proven. I want to be proven. So, mental focus, guarding your mind, guarding your mind. Then I want you to guard your emotion. You have to manage that inner storm. Guard your emotion. Too many of us are trying to handle adversities and challenge with emotional thinking. Learn to respond, right? Not react. Emotions are powerful, but undisciplined emotions will destroy your focus. If you don't have the discipline needed, emotions are needed. They're powerful. But you have to keep your emotions intact. These emotions have to be disciplined. Undisciplined emotions will destroy your focus. Learn to respond, not react. Learn to respond, not react. The guy that decided he wanted to take advantage of us financially, I had to guide and guard my emotions. I had to guard my emotions. Because if I didn't guard my emotions and I allowed my emotions to run wild, right? It would be considered to be undisciplined emotions, right? If I allowed that to happen during my testing season, it would destroy my focus. So learn to respond and not react. See, these pressures that we're talking about exposes emotional maturity. Man, if you ain't never been tested emotionally and to test your level of emotional maturity, right? You see a lot of people, I don't know, you guys watch the internet and watch, these people fighting and arguing and they and they cat fighting and doing all of this stuff. It's because they lack emotional maturity. They lack emotional maturity. See, that growth happens for you when you're being stressed to the point where you're feeling completely overwhelmed. I know I've got people on here to know exactly what I'm saying, right? Where you feel completely overwhelmed, but you intentionally choose restraint. That's where the strength comes in. When you intentionally choose to restrain your emotions. That takes practice. That takes intentional. That takes you intentionally trying and being intentional about uh, uh, choosing to restrain. You have to practice gratitude. Practice gratitude, right? So when you're going through these trying times, practice what you're grateful for so you can shift the emotional energy toward your strength and optimism. You have to shift your focus. right? Daniel Goldman says that in a very real sense, he says we've got two minds. We got two of them. One that thinks and the other one that feels. We're talking about emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence. Okay? So you want to guard your mind, your mental focus. Number two, you want to guard your emotional focus. And number three, you want to guard your purpose. You want to guard your purpose. You want to stay anchored to the vision. Right? Those who have a why to live can bear almost anything. Those who have a why to live can bear almost anyhow. When life tests you, right? Purpose becomes your roadmap. It becomes your navigator, becomes your compass. Purpose. So once you can get your mental focus, you got your emotional focus intact, you want to make sure that you have your purpose and the focus of why you're here intact. You want to make sure you're staying anchored to the vision. This is your navigator now. You're going through it now. Now you're going through the brain. Now you're going through the trial. You've got your emotions intact. You've got your mental fortitude intact. Now all you have to do now is stay anchored. Even while these winds are blowing right now, you have to stay anchored. Even while the waves is raging right now, you have to stay anchored. You have to stay anchored. Clarity of purpose neutralizes confusion. Purpose reminds you why you started when everything stops. Purpose reminds you why you started when everything stopped. Do you even think about this? As we're growing in our G2 Global family, we have a purpose in mind. And because we have a mission in mind, we've got to be stretched. We've got to be tested. We've got to be tried. But we have to remember our purpose. We have to remember our mission. So purpose reminds us why we started in the first place. And it reminds us of this when everything, right in the midst of it, when everything starts to stop. When all hell breaks out. You got to stay anchored to the vision. Don't deviate. Put the blinders on. I know it hurts. I know it's challenging. I know you're tired, but put the blinders on. Keep looking at your mission. Keep reminding yourself of the mission. Often revisit it when you're going through these trying times. Remind yourself of the mission. I tell people all the time that meet me that wants to link up with G2 Global Network, all the partners, and they think they'll say this is something different here in G2 Global Network. I had a guy today to tell me, he says, Mo, we're rocking with you all. We like how you guys are moving. We like how you operate, things of that nature, right? The mission, I tell them all the time, this is a mission. We didn't get up and just start a business. This is not a business for me. G2 Global Network is not a business, simply a business for me. Okay? It's a mission. And yes, and out of this mission, there's a business component to it that not only me, because of this mission, all of us will see the rewards. But every now and again, I have to revisit my mission. I have to let people know, listen, this is a mission-driven focus. I understand we're going to make money. I understand those things. I'm clear. That's fine. But I'm more concerned about the people in my network making money more than me. I'm more concerned about the people in my network being successful and my team more than me. Right? My mission is to bridge the gaps between the haves and the have-nots. My mission is to bring reliable resources to our table. My mission is to connect the dots so we can empower one another and empower the people that comes under the G2 Global Network. That's my mission. And so every now and again, when I'm being tested, I'm being tried, and people are pulling on me, I have to remember the mission. I got to remember the mission. You guys don't understand that this is what we do on a daily basis. It takes work. It's not easy. And you better believe that we're being tried. You better believe that we're being tested. You better believe that we're under pressure. But I have to keep mental focus. I have to keep emotional focus. And I have to keep purpose focus. I have to stay anchored to the vision. And we also have to keep relational focus. That's the area number 4, relational focus. Who you surround yourself with determines whether you stay steady or you spiral out of control. Right? Who you surround yourself with. This is why coming to the meetings are important. This is why getting on these calls are important. Because you have to think about who it is that you're surrounding yourself with. Who are you deriving your strength from? Who are you connecting with and getting energy from? Who are you on the phone with daily? Who are you in meetings with daily? Who have you surrounded yourself around? When you're going through your trying season, who do you pick up the phone to talk to? Are you talking to someone that can pour into you or someone that can babysit your pain? Who are you talking to? Are you talking to someone else that's hurting just as much as you, and they can't really give you any advice, and now you guys are just bouncing back pain energy? See, most of the time we want to talk to people that want to babysit our pain and can understand our pain because we just want somebody to hear us. When in essence, you have to be intentional about your relationships because you during your testing period, you want to make sure that you're around people that can provide a positive perspective to you when your vision gets cloudy. Stop running to folks that's going to babysit your pain and has no solution. We're not babysitting your pain in G2 Global Network. We're not babysitting your pain. We acknowledge your pain, but we're not babysitting it. You got to move past that pain and move into purpose. So who you surround yourself with determines whether you stay steady or spiral. So during the test, you have to avoid negative environments. negative environments is going to magnify your fear. Number two, you have to stay close to people who feed your faith. You have to stay close to people who feed your faith and not your frustration. Too many of you are talking to folks that's feeding your frustration. And when you get off the phone with them or you get out of the meeting with them, you're still in the same place that you were before you got in that call or got in that meeting with them. My intention is that when you come on these calls on these Friday nights and get this mindset development, that when you get off of this call, you leave different. You leave in a better position mentally to deal with what you have to deal with when you get off of this call. Listen, these calls are not going to make your trials go away, but what it's going to do is to help you to deal with that and to navigate through them as you're going through them. So mentorship provides perspective when your vision gets cloudy. Okay? You're the average of 5 people you spend the most time with. You guys heard that. We talk about that all the time. You're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So relationship focus. So as you're being tried and you're being stretched and you're being tested, you have to make sure you have your mental focus. You have to make sure you have your emotional focus. You have to make sure that you have your purpose focus, where you stay, you stand in the game, right? And you also have to make sure that you have relationship or relational focus, making sure you're around the right people, especially when you're going through the trials, right? And the last area is spiritual focus. You want to make sure that you have spiritual focus. You need strength beyond yourself. Man, you can't do this alone. You cannot do this. You cannot do this life alone. You have to have spiritual focus, something greater than you. True endurance comes from spiritual grounding, knowing that there's a purpose in your pain. There's a purpose in your pain. There's purpose in your pain. Remember that. I don't care what you're going through. I don't care what you're feeling. I'm not saying be comfortable in your pain. I'm not saying that. Pain hurts. But if you can muster up enough energy and enough focus to know that there's purpose in your pain, when you're coming on the other side, remember, this is now when you're proven. Remember, you're trying to become proven. You've been tried, you've been stretched, you've been tested, but now you must be proven. Your faith transformed trials into testimonies. Your prayer and meditation and belief creates internal alignment. You have to have internal alignment. Remember that the tests are temporary. The test is temporary. I don't know, what tests have you ever had that's been ongoing and never ended? Tests are temporary. And some tests are longer than others, but it has to come to an end. When your level of proficiency is declared, that test will come to the end. The reason why you're staying in that test, that particular test, and I hope this helps you, the reason why you're continuing to be tested in a certain area over and over and over and over and over and over again is because you have failed on that level of proficiency. You have not become proficient on that level yet. So guess what you do? You repeat the same grade. Some of you all are repeating the grade over and over and over because you haven't been proficient in your testing season. You wasn't able to pass the test to make it to the next level and the next place. So tests are temporary, but spiritual resilience is eternal. T.D. Jakes says, when God wants to bless you, he often gives you a problem to solve. When God wants to bless you, he gives you a problem to solve. And so you have to stay unshaken. This is the power of perspective. How you see your situation, you all, determines how you survive it. How you see your circumstances determines how you're going to survive it. It's all about how you see it. When you change the way you see things, the way you see things will change. How do you see your situation? When you can see your situation as a test, when you can see your situation as you being stretched, it's just a stretching season, right? When you can see your situation as you're being tried, it's going to determine how you survive it. The goal is to be proven. You're being tested. You're not being taken out. You're being tested. You're not being destroyed. It's only a test. Tests are not punishment. They're promotions in disguise. So congratulations to all of you all that's being tested. Congratulations to all of you all that's being tried. Congratulations to all of you all that's being stretched, because it's simply a promotion in disguise. But the only way that you will get the promotion is by passing the test. And the only way you're going to pass the test and become proven is by staying focused. It's by having mental fortitude. It's by having being emotionally resilient and having the right mindset, right? Growth doesn't feel good. Growth don't feel good when you're being stressed and pulled and those things. It don't feel good. But it always produces good. Your focus fuels your future. Your focus fuels your future. You have to stay focused. Don't lose sight of the big picture. Don't lose sight of what you sought out to do. You cannot lose sight. We're bringing different things to our G2 Global Network to help us to not lose sight, to help us as a family, a G2 Global family, to stay focused and to become proven. To stay focused and to become proven. That's what our focus is here. We want to remain focused and to become proven. We want that all power in our hand. Because when you have the power in your hand, you're going to walk different, you're going to talk different, that crown is going to sit differently on your head. Why? Because of everything that you had to endure. But because of your focus when you were being tried, because of your focus when you were being pulled, because of your focus when you were being stretched, those nights where you're crying, those days when you're in the hospital, when you've got depression and you've got stress and you don't know exactly where your next, what your next is going to be. Don't lose sight of the bigger picture. These difficulties were there to strengthen your mind. It's there to fuel your future. Your focus is there to fuel your future. Okay? So Nelson Mandela, I looked this up, spent 27 years in prison. You're tested but not taken out, wrongly accused, isolated, and tested beyond his imagination. But yet instead became, instead of becoming bitter, he became focused on the mission of unity. That focus transformed his pain into purpose, leading him to become the South African's first Black president. His test became his testimony. You may be tested, but you're not taken out. Think about what Nelson Mandela had to endure for 27 years in prison. 27 years. That's the challenges. That's the purpose. That's the pressures I'm talking about. When you're being proven, you got to sit a while. He sat for 27 years, and Lord knows what he had to endure after that and before that. But to sit in a place of prison for 27 years, wrongly accused and isolated, he was tested way beyond what he thought he had the capability of handling. And so he diverted his attention or what was happening, the distraction, into his mission. Instead of him becoming bitter, instead of him becoming anger, he became focused on the mission. He became focused on the mission. So when you come out of the storm, you won't be the same person who walked in it. That's what the storm is all about. When you come out of the test, you won't be the same person who walked in that test. This is all about making you proven. This is all about taking you to a place and getting you to a place where you will have the power in your hand to command the things that you want and the things that you desire and the things that you sought out to do. You want to have the power in your hands. You want to have the power in your mouth to command these things, to order the things in your life that you want. But you have to become proven. And you have to do that during the testing season. So I wanted to just stop right here to say you're being tested, but you're not being taken out. Stop thinking that things is trying to take you out. Things is trying to destroy you. We're all going through some trying times, all of us, you all. I don't care where you live. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care about who you're related to. I don't care about any of your degrees. I don't care about your corporate status, your business status. You're being tested, and we're all going through. But it's not to take us out. It's not to take us out. When the olive is being pressed to get the oil out, they crush the olive just enough to extract the oil, but not crush the seed. When the olive is being used to extract the oil, they will press that olive enough just to start extracting oil, but never destroying the seed. And I just want to say that that's what's happening with us, you and I, as we're going through our journey, that we're being pressed. We're being pressured. And we're being tried because something is trying to extract the goodness out of what we have. Your higher power, your higher energy is extracting the oils from you. He needs your oil, right? But he's not trying to crush your seed. So you're being tested. You're not being taken out. We have to master the art of our focus. Master the art of focus. Being tried, stretched, and proven is how faith becomes real. It's how leadership becomes authentic. And it's how vision becomes unstoppable. I want all of you all to not quit, not to throw in the towel, and remember, don't break. Don't break. Don't break. This is your guy, Moe, with G2 Global Network. I want you guys to keep your wings up and to keep climbing higher and to keep elevating your mind and to keep going higher and higher. Wings up, you all. You're being tested and you're not being taken out. You got this. Don't break. I'll see each and every one of you all at the top. Wings up.
Wings up. Thank you, Moe.